Let's be honest. Have you ever spent what feels like hours wrestling with an AI for some serious research, only to end up with a shallow paragraph that's, well, basically useless? It's an incredibly common frustration, and today we're gonna fix it.
You know the feeling, right? You've got a complex task, maybe a big report to write, or a whole market you need to understand. So you turn to your AI assistant for a leg up. You're expecting deep insights, data, something you can actually use. But instead, you get fluff. It barely scratches the surface. It's frustrating for sure, but I promise you, it's not a dead end.
So, let's look at a classic mistake. A lot of us will ask for research with a simple, direct command, just like this one. I mean, it seems logical, doesn't it? We're telling the AI exactly what we want it to do. But, and this is the key, this is precisely where it all starts to go wrong.
And here's what you get back. A totally generic summary that mentions the obvious stuff. Yup, Tesla's a big deal, people care about the environment, but there's no data, no structure, and absolutely zero actionable insights. Now, the most crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't the AI failing. It's our approach that's failing. We're asking for a finished house without ever giving it the blueprint. So how do we fix this? Well, we need to completely shift our thinking. Instead of just barking a command, we need to guide the AI through a real professional research process. And this is where something called the Research Assistance System comes into play. So what is this Research Assistance System? Now don't worry, it's not some new app or a complicated tool you have to go buy. It's simply a method, a structured workflow of prompts that breaks a huge research task down into separate, manageable phases. You know, just like a human expert would. A really great way to get your head around this is with an analogy. Think about building a house. You wouldn't just dump a pile of bricks, wood, and wires on a plot of land and yell, "Build a house!" Of course not. You'd start with a detailed plan, you'd lay a solid foundation, you'd frame the structure, and you'd follow a very systematic process. The Research Assistance System applies that exact same logic to research. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of this systematic workflow. We're going to break down how this system actually works to build a much better result. It's surprisingly simple, incredibly powerful, and it will fundamentally change the quality of what you get from your AI. The whole system unfolds in 4 key phases. First up is planning. You don't just ask for research, you prompt the AI to create a detailed plan for the research. Then comes gathering. You use that plan to systematically collect information, and you demand sources and data. Step 3 is analysis. Here, you get the AI to sift through everything it found to spot patterns, insights, and even contradictions. And finally, synthesis. This is where you instruct it to weave all of those findings into one single coherent report. See how each step builds on the last? That's what guarantees depth and quality. So what does this all look like in practice? Let's do a side-by-side comparison. We'll look at the output from that simple, single prompt versus the output from our new system. And believe me, the difference is night and day. And this comparison really says it all. Over on the left, you see the result of that one vague prompt. It's a useless jumble of generic info. But look at the right. That's the output from the Research Assistance System. It's comprehensive, it's structured, it's filled with actionable recommendations, and it's backed by actual data with citations you can go and check. This is no longer just information, it's intelligence. And this massive improvement isn't just a gut feeling. It's actually backed by data. Studies have shown that using a structured system like this one produces results that are 60 to 80% more comprehensive than those single-shot prompts. You're just capturing so much more of the critical information. Okay, but what about accuracy? I mean, this is a huge concern for anyone doing serious work, right? Well, this systematic approach, with its built-in phases for analysis and checking sources, dramatically reduces hallucinations and factual errors. We're talking by as much as 50 to 70%. This is how you start to build real trust in your AI-generated research. Of course, the specific AI model you use does matter. And while this system works great with top models like GPT-4 and Gemini, if accuracy is your absolute #1 priority for professional work, models like Claude 3.5 Sonnet really do shine. Its strength in synthesizing really long documents makes it a fantastic engine for this kind of structured workflow.
All right, so you've seen the power of the system. Let's wrap this up with the key principles you can start applying literally right now to superpower your own research process.
Here are the 5 big rules to remember. 1. Always start with crystal clear objectives. 2. Treat that planning phase as the most critical step. Seriously,
Never skip it. 3. Always demand source tracking and citations to make sure you're getting quality. 4. Remember you can adjust the depth. You don't always need a 10-page report. And 5. Save this system for deep, comprehensive research, not for simple, quick fact checks.
So, here's the bottom line. For a long time, we've been using a hammer for a job that really needs a full toolkit. By shifting from a single command to a systematic process, you unlock a whole new level of quality and efficiency. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What complex problem could you finally solve if your research was suddenly 80% more comprehensive and took 90% less time to complete?